G'day, I'm KT and I'm here to show you how to change the oil and the oil filter in your vehicle. I'm making this clip for women who are keen to get amongst, but it might be your first time and you're not too sure what to do, so I'm here to tell you and to show you some tips and tricks as well. So hopefully I can install some of that confidence for you. The equipment we're going to be using, make sure you've got an oil pan big enough to catch all the oil. Now this here's the 10 litre, so not many vehicles go, well not many standard vehicles go over that, so should be fine getting this. You need an oil filter. These here come in all different shapes and sizes, there's heaps of different ones. Take with you the make, model and year of your vehicle into Super Cheap Auto or Repco. The chassis number helps as well, so they'll organise getting you a filter for your vehicle. Get one of these as well. This here helps take the filter on and put it back off. It's an oil filter wrench. Some people hand tighten it, but it's much easier to take off using one of these. If you can get a ratchet system, sockets for the drain plug on the sump, then I'd highly recommend getting that. I've only got crescents here. I got the small one, but they can be quite tight, so I've gone for quite a big one, a 12-inch, and it's a little bit overkill, but it's going to do the job. And of course you need your oil, and the Repco or Super Cheap Auto people will help you out with that. Some other bits that you'll need is overalls or dirty clothing that you don't mind getting oil on, because you can get a bit of spillage. Oil does go on your hands as well, so grab some gloves to protect your hands. Also helps wearing gloves for when you're using this fella, because if you slip you can graze your knuckle on the engine. Paper towels or dirty rags, make sure you've got them. Something to lie down on when you're underneath your vehicle, and some chocolate as well definitely helps. So let me show you underneath and we'll get started. Okay, a couple of things before you get started. One is to open up your engine oil lid here, and that just helps it drain out a lot easier. Now make sure this here lives in a safe spot where it's not going to fall down and get lost. And the other thing is to look for your oil filter. Now mine is just through there, it might be hard to see from here, but they're going to be different places on different vehicles, always on the engine, the main area though, and you want to know where it is and how to get to it before you start the whole process, because it'll just be quite difficult. It's quite good because this one is up the right way. Some of them go on sideways, so when you take it off, be careful that you're not going to be dropping oil down into your engine and on the ground. Now underneath, I've got my mat, I've got the pan underneath there, and my crescent ready as well. Now if you think you're going to make a bit of a mess, chuck heaps of newspaper down, save your concrete. Now depending on what type of vehicle you have, you may want to drive it up onto some blocks just so that you can get underneath. The Terrano here though is pretty good, high enough for me to squeeze underneath and get to the bolt. Now the bolt we're talking about is right here. And when you're placing your pan, you want to put it in front of it as well as underneath, because the oil will actually gush out like a waterfall this way and then into the pan. And if you don't get it there, then it's going to overshoot your pan. Okay, so when you're undoing this, you want to get as much leverage as possible because it can be really tight. That's why I've gone for the bigger crescent. A socket could make it a lot easier as well, gets a bit better grip on it. Now when you're putting it on, you want to make sure that you have it as tight as possible around the bolt, okay? And that way you're trying to prevent the slippages, because if you slip it, then it's just going to round off the edges, and that's a real bad thing. So when you undo it, the oil's not going to gush out all over you when you first undo it to loosen it. So don't worry about getting underneath, getting all your weight and power into it. I'm actually got my knees up under the cup and just going to put all my weight into it and keep trying to turn it to loosen it, okay? Oh, that wasn't too bad. Now the bolt here has some washers as well. Usually have washers, so make sure you've got the washers with you, and try your best not to drop the oil. Try not to drop the bolt like that. And try and get it before it disappears. And that's part of getting messy. And that is also why we've got our handy towels with us. A good trick is to use your antennae, mine's actually broken, for your handy towels as well. Alright, when you've given it a quick clean, chuck it beside the oil cap as well. That way you know when you go to fill it up. Oh, hang on, I've got to put that bolt back in. Quite important to put that in before you put the oil in here. Now for the oil filter, we've located it before underneath there, and we're going to be taking it off using our oil filter remover. Now make sure that you see how much room you've got in there, and you can actually bend the handle so that you can get some good leverage, because there's not a lot of room when the handle's straight like that. Now we want to be putting it on the correct way so that when we tighten it and turn it, it's going to grip the oil filter and turn it around, okay? Now this one here, I can just give you a wee demo. You're putting it on and then you're gripping it this way and pulling it and turning it this way. Now it's a little bit different to the righty-tighty, lefty-loosey saying, so make sure that you are turning it the right way. If it's really not budging, maybe you want to try it the other way to undo it. So I know on this one here, you can also look at the thread. We're going to be turning it clockwise so that we're going to be twisting it right off. Now this here is probably the hardest part of the process, getting into that small gap and taking it off. So let's get a mark. Also, if you're quite a bit smaller like me, then it's really good to have something to step up on so you can get right in over top and down into the engine. Getting out your filter, they certainly don't make it easy for you. So Nissan Terrano 92, trying to get this filter out, if you don't know, it can be quite difficult. So you've got this lip here, which is super annoying. However, this is what you're putting the lip of your oil filter underneath to get out and try and work it out. Now I'm over the engine on the side of the car, so I've got both my hands in here to do this. So definitely put some tissue paper, some newspaper underneath your engine for this part, because oil will spill, because you're trying to get this bit, the edge of the oil filter underneath this lip here, and then you're just working that filter out. So hopefully you can see that, and it just comes out the side. And I got my oil filter out Now it's still full of oil as well, so make sure you put that into your oil pan. Now it's time to be putting it all back together. We'll start with the new oil filter, chuck the bung back in, and then fill it back up with oil. So you can open up the protective covering on here, made of plastic. And then what you're wanting to be doing is, on the seal here, putting a light bit of new oil on there to help create that seal. So just on your fingers, all good. Some say to fill the whole filter up with oil, however on putting the filter back it's just going to make a big mess, so we won't be doing that with this one. Just a reverse of taking it out, bottom of it in first, under that lip, and then up, and then you're going to be twisting it. Now you want to twist it hand tight, and then we'll grab our filter wrench and make it nice and tight. So do it right up. Go about hand tight, and then we'll grab our tool. Be twisting it tighter. You want to try and get it one full revolution all the way around.
And put our bung back in, because we've left it in a place that we know where it is, and we won't forget it. Cool, back underneath, tighten it with your hands, and then get your spinner and give it a good tighten. It doesn't have to be super tight, but definitely want it tight enough so that it will not come undone when you don't want it to. Use some paper towels, give everything a wipe down, everything that's got oil, just to give it a bit of a clean, and then we'll chuck the oil back in.
Now it's time to replace the oil, so grab your filter. If you don't have one, you can make one of these good ones, and your oil, and you're just going to be filling it right up. I'm going to be putting the whole 5 litres in before checking it. So I've got a step stool here as well, just to make life a little bit easier for myself. Alright, once again, make sure you put your oily stuff on some tissue paper so you don't get oil everywhere. Right. Now you want to leave it for a few minutes before you check it, because that oil is going down and inside everywhere. We'll check it, we'll start the car, and then we'll check it again. Make sure you've got your oil lid. Go on. Put your used oil back into your container. Make sure you know that it's used. Maybe even write that down on it. And use your funnel to chuck it in. And either put down some newspaper. I've just done it on the grass here. Had a small spillage, but it's not too detrimental since it's just on the lawn there. And be quite careful, dispose of it properly. Do not put it down the drain or just biff it out into the garden or anything. You can take it into places around town. You have to look that up. I haven't actually looked it up. Or you just leave it in the garage and it sits there for ages. But at least it's not contaminating anywhere. Now that I've left it for a few minutes, I'm going to check the oil and see what level it's at. So find your dipstick. Here's my one right here. And taking it out, it's quite a good idea to give it a wipe first, and that way it'll be clear when you're making your reading. Pop her in there, pull her out, and that's looking alright. It's in the middle part here, so it's not looking too bad. However, I'm gonna start her up so that the oil can go around into the engine, and then I'll give it another check. Give her another wipe since she's been bounced around in there. Cool, so probably gonna top her up just a little bit more. Now we check it one last time. There we go, she's up at in the middle there, which is quite good. Now you certainly don't want it underneath your marker. In the middle is good, and certainly not over top of your max marker. Right, also make sure, so your filter should come with one of these things. So make sure you fill it in, chuck it back up here. There we go, there's that one. And that way you'll know for the next time when you need to change this. Boom, done. There we go, and we're about done. So I've given you lots of info about how to do this yourself, and just get in there and get amongst it. It's pretty fun to be playing around with the engine. Make sure you've cleaned up any spillages, and also clean your tools, and make sure you put them somewhere where you can find them in 6 months' time when you have to do it again. Now I hope I've installed a little bit more confidence for you to go out and do it yourself. A couple more things is places where you can take your oil. If you're in the Christchurch area, there's a couple of eco drops around the city, so Google that and that'll give you the addresses. Thanks for watching, and hope this has helped you a little bit. Cool, definitely time for that chocolate. Yum, caramello.